On behalf of all assembled here today, I should now like to invite our newest alumnus, Dr. Robert Jeffrey Orr, to address Convocation.
Thank you, Chancellor Cowan. Thank you, Dr. Chakma, Professor Seitz, Gerard, thank you, Dean Kennedy, Bob, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great pleasure, it's a great honor for me to be here, especially with you, the HBA class, and celebrate this day with you, and celebrate what the university represents and what Ivy represents. I had been asked by Dr. Chakma when he first approached me, and there were different dates around, and I said, is there any way we can get the room full of Ivy grads? And he said, I think we can probably figure that out. And so it's truly a pleasure for me. Now they say that you will never remember anything about your convocation speech. And you can't imagine what a liberating thought that is as a speaker. You know, I thought I could maybe just get up here and trash U of T and Queens for 10, 15 minutes and then sit down. And I realized that, you know, Gerard Seitz is a U of T grad and my wife is a U of T grad, so I thought better of that. And plus that might be the one speech that everybody remembered, I guess. Now, you know, I can't remember a thing about my convocation at Western. That might have something to do with the fact that I didn't make my convocation. I had a very good reason for not making my convocation. I didn't share that information with Dr. Chakma or any of the organizers of the event, you can imagine. Thought it might make them a little bit jumpy. And I always felt a bit guilty, I have to say. So when I first got an email from Dr. Chakma and it said something about Convocation and Ivy, I went, oh my God, they caught up with me after all these years. I knew this was going to happen. And then, of course, he assured me it was an honorary degree, and so here I am. And so it's absolutely, it is a thrill for me. It's an absolute thrill for me to be here. So this is your convocation. You are graduating from Western, graduating from Ivy. It's a great university, great degree, a great program, and you should be incredibly proud. This is your day to celebrate. It's a huge achievement. Now you may say you're the same person going to bed tonight than you were when you woke up this morning. But it's not really about the day. The day is marking what you've achieved. And if you go back in your minds and think about yourself at the first day arriving at Western, or the first day arriving at Ivy, and I'd ask you to reflect on who you were as a person and who you are today, how much more confidence you have, how much more ability you have, how you know how to tackle problems, how you know how to work with people. I ask you to reflect on where you've come over the past 2 or 4 years, and I can't imagine there's anybody in the audience that won't think that they've come a long way and they're a much more accomplished person today. So today's really a milestone, but it's about celebrating the entire journey that you've been on and acknowledging what you've achieved. You know, it's also a day for your parents. And your parents have a big part of this, and your family and your friends have a big part of this. So I'll speak to you, your parents, and only you know how much your fingerprints are on these pieces of paper that your children are about to receive. Not necessarily for what you've done in the past year or 2 years or 4 years, but maybe a little something over the past 20-odd years has contributed to where your children are here today. And so this is your day as well, and congratulations to you. Enjoy it. Now, I have had the privilege of only giving one other convocation speech, and it was at my daughter Jackie's high school convocation 4 years ago at Lakefield College School. And Jackie tells me that a few of her classmates actually went on to Western, and some of them actually went on to Ivy and are here today. So I'm thinking, you're looking up at the stage, you're going, what, this guy again? What? How does that happen? Like, you know, does he just go around and do convocation speeches or what? Like, yeah. I'm a professional convocation speaker. I'm on the circuit. I actually got to get out of here afterwards because I got another one coming up the Saft. But for the 2 or 3 of you who have seen me give a convocation speech before, you get another chance to hear my message because you probably forgot it the first time. And the message that I do have for you is a really simple one. It's a very simple one. My message to you is to succeed by doing what's right. Succeed by doing what's right. And what do I mean by succeed? I don't necessarily mean to attain a certain position, or to get to a certain place in society, or to make a certain amount of money. Those are goals. We all need goals. Goals are a good thing. But if you define what you do by achieving your goals, it's actually pretty tough. It can be very disappointing, because achieving goals is very hard to predict. There's a lot of things that can work. You can work hard, you can have drive, you can have perseverance, you can do all that's right, but there's a certain amount of luck involved as well. And you can't predict whether you're going to meet all the goals that you set for yourself. I certainly never started out by saying, I'm going to be the CEO of a big public company. Had I done that, I probably would have completely overwhelmed myself and would not have done it. What I mean by succeed is become the kind of person that you want to become. Define your success by developing a view of who you want to be, not what you want to be, personally or professionally. Behave in a way that at the end of every day or every week or every year or at the end of your life, you can look yourself in the mirror and you can say, I was the person that I wanted to be. I behaved in the way that I wanted to be. And that can be lots of different things. You may say, I want to be a person who continually learns and grows. You might say, I want to be a person who is giving to the people around me and contributing to your family or your friends or your workplace, your colleagues, your companies, your clients that you're working with if you're in business. If you might be a person that says, I'm going to give more than I take back in every relationship. You want to treat people fairly, with respect, be a transparent and honest individual. Whatever it is, define success by your becoming that person. That way you control your destiny. If you go out and say, I'm going to define my success by your goals, you can't control what ends up happening. There's lots of things that can happen, but you can always control who you are as a person and how you behave. And what do I mean by doing what is right? I mean bring the same values to your workplace and to all of your relationships that you would to your closest family members or your best friends. And now, you're HBA graduates, so I assume most of you are thinking about a career in business. And it's amazing to me how many people believe that when they get in business, they need to be a different person than they are when they're with their family or with their friends. They somehow get this notion, it's business, so it's dog eat dog, and I've got to look out for myself, and I've got to say what I think are the right things to say as opposed to what I believe. None of the things that you would define to yourself as being the kind of person you want to be. But people, whether it's because of TV or the press or movies, I don't know, get the thought that they should be a different person. My own experience is that people who advance in business, yes, are hardworking, driving, they try and meet and exceed expectations, they do all of that, but they do the right things to advance their goals and that of their group and their colleagues and their company. And overwhelmingly, I found that the most successful people are those that behave on that basis. The other thing is that it ends up making you win. It actually advances your goals. It's actually by being the person who is doing the right thing, trying to contribute, trying to be honest, trying to put a lot of effort in, trying to give more than you're taking back, that over time you build a reputation and people around you start to notice. And next thing you know, opportunities and leadership positions are being put forward for you. And I'm not saying to do it for that reason, but that is what ends up happening. Now, you will probably observe to me, and many people have, surely there's a lot of turkeys in the world that are in positions of influence and that are in companies and that have made money and are in positions of influence, and that is, of course, true. There's lots of them. And in any group you're going to be with, you're going to deal with turkeys, and they might be in positions to influence your life or your job or your outcome, and it's not always easy. But what I would say is those people succeeded in spite of their bad qualities, not because of their bad qualities. And had they combined that energy and hard work and drive with good values and caring about other people, they would have advanced further. Now, an exception to that, I would say, is if you get in a group and you find that bad behavior and bad culture is tolerated or even being encouraged by the leadership, and you don't think you can do anything about it, then you should probably start to look for other opportunities. Because everything I say doesn't work if you're surrounded by a group of people who don't share those values. Certainly in my case, it was at the top of my list. I've had two companies I've worked for. I worked for Nesbitt Burns, then BMO Nesbitt Burns became part of Bank of Montreal, and then I worked for the Power Group. And in both cases, my criteria for joining was I wanted to be surrounded by the very best people I could be. And I made my decisions on that basis. I want to be around people who were smart, hardworking, hard-driven, but people who were good people and respectful and decent. And I really encourage you to do the same. I really encourage you to make your decisions based on the quality of the people you're going to be surrounded right by. So succeed by doing what is right. Now, one other thing I have found is that when you have a really tough decision to make and you're in a really tough situation, you turn to your values. And I'll give you a simple example. The worst thing you have to do in business is to either let a person go or to let a group of people go. Sometimes you got to let 100 people go, and it happens in a day. And you're sitting there going, why do I have to do this? This is no fun. Why did I choose this role anyways? And you're struggling with whether it's the right thing to do. And you go back to your values and you say, okay, I have a responsibility to the organization. We've got to make this move because otherwise the long-term success of the company is not going to happen and everyone's going to lose their jobs eventually, and so you've got to do this. You root yourself in. You have responsibility to the good of the organization. And then you say, you've got to treat the people who are being let go fairly and with dignity and with honesty and financially fairly, and you try and support them. And you steel yourself in the values that what you're doing is right, and you then remember that the person on the other end is having a much worse day than you're going to go through, and you get yourself through it based on your values. And I'm giving that a simple example. You root yourself in your values, and you will make it through almost any tough situation. Now, I will recognize that if you think about the broader world today, my words may not resonate to you if you think about politics and the world that is around us right now. You know, we've got a world that is turning inward. Countries are turning in on themselves, turning their back on the internationalization that we've had for the past 7 decades since World War II. And there certainly isn't a lot of truth in the dialogue that is going on around the world. But surely the solutions to what's going on in the world are not that countries turn in on themselves, but they continue to reach out to each other. And we have an issue, obviously, of inclusiveness in our economy with technology and globalization changing so rapidly. People are getting left behind. So the solution is to include more people in the economy and figure out ways to do that, to continue to get more women into the workplace and to retrain people. The solutions are around that, and the kind of leadership that's required for that is leadership based on doing the right thing. And we all need to be a voice in that, and if we are, the world will continue to advance. And that's a challenge you have as you get out into the economy. We all share it. And so it is true that in public life, what I say may not be as true, you don't observe it as much. But in fact, the solution to where we are is very much what I'm saying to you. So my simple message, if I say it one more time, I hope 2 or 3 of you remember, at least the 2 or 3 who were at Lakefield, succeed by doing the right thing. I'm going to conclude by thanking my family, Susie and John and Will, and my daughter Jackie, who is probably coming up Western Avenue right about now. She was coming in from New York last night, and flights got canceled, and she took a 6 a.m. flight this morning, and she's probably about 10 minutes from the gates here. But I'm going to thank Jackie here. I'm shamefully proud of my children. Susie is as well. This is kind of convocation month for us, so I'm up here. 2 weeks ago, Jackie graduated from Williams in Massachusetts, and John is graduating from INSEAD in Fontainebleau in 2 weeks. And it's only Will that's not graduating this year. I don't know what he's up to. But given that he's a 2014 HBA grad, I think we'll probably give him a pass. Thank you again to the university. Thank you, Dr. Chakma, to all of you, to Chancellor Cowan. Congratulations to all of you. This is your day. Enjoy it. Thank you.